What if you looked up at the night sky and the moon was gone? No explosion, no warning, just empty space where it once ruled the tides, stabilized our planet, and shaped life itself. Would Earth survive without the moon? Or slowly fall apart? The truth is, the moon isn't just a glowing rock in the sky. It's a silent guardian, a cosmic anchor that holds our world in a delicate, life-sustaining balance. It controls the ocean tides, keeps Earth's rotation steady, and influences the climate patterns that have allowed civilizations to flourish. So today's question is simple, yet terrifying. What would happen if the moon disappeared tomorrow? Let's imagine this scene. It's a normal Tuesday. Then, at exactly midnight, the moon simply vanishes. The first thing we'd notice wouldn't be in the sky, but in the sea. The moon is responsible for about 70% of Earth's tidal force. Without its gravitational pull, the oceans would seem to go quiet. High tides would drop dramatically, shrinking by over two. The familiar ebb and flow that has governed coastal life for eons would be gone. This isn't just a minor inconvenience for surfers. Coastal ecosystems, like mangrove forests and tidal flats, would be destroyed almost overnight. They depend on the daily rhythm of the tides for their survival. Coral reefs, which often spawn and sink with lunar cycles, would face immediate collapse. The sun still exerts a gravitational pull, creating much weaker solar tides, but the powerful engine of the lunar tides would be silenced forever. The world's coastlines would be irrevocably changed within a single day. Within days, 2 weeks, a far more dangerous problem would begin to unfold. The moon acts like a stabilizing gyroscope for Earth. Our planet is tilted on its axis by about 23.5 degrees, and it's this tilt that gives us our predictable seasons. The moon's gravity holds that tilt steady, preventing it from wobbling wildly. Without the moon, Earth's axial tilt would become unstable. Over thousands of years, it could swing anywhere from nearly 0 degrees, where there would be no seasons at all, to an extreme 85 degrees. Imagine the equator becoming the new North Pole. Entire continents could be plunged into a deep freeze for centuries, only to then be scorched by a relentless year-round sun. Seasons, as we know them, would become a thing of the past, replaced by long, unpredictable periods of extreme heat and cold. The planet's climate zones would shift chaotically across the globe, making large parts of Earth completely uninhabitable. Our planet would start to wobble like a die-in top. In the following months, the weather would escalate into pure chaos. Predictable seasons are the bedrock of agriculture and civilization. With Earth's axis now unstable, the atmospheric systems that govern our weather would break down. The jet streams, those high-altitude rivers of air that steer weather patterns, would become erratic and unpredictable. This would lead to a dramatic increase in extreme weather events. We're talking about megastorms, far more powerful and frequent than anything we see today, forming in completely unexpected places. Prolonged droughts would parch entire continents, while others would face catastrophic, unending floods. Our global food systems, which are finely tuned to existing climate patterns, would completely fail. Famine on a global scale would be inevitable. The stable climate that allowed humanity to transition from hunter-gatherers to farmers would be a distant memory. As the years pass, another, more primal change would take hold. The night would become dangerously dark. We often forget that the moonlight we see is just reflected sunlight. The full moon is about 2,000 times dimmer than the sun, but it's still hundreds of thousands of times brighter than the next brightest object, Venus. Without the moon, our nights would be plunged into an absolute, pitch-black darkness, lit only by the distant, faint glow of the stars. For billions of years, life on Earth has adapted to this lunar cycle. Many nocturnal animals, from owls to moths, rely on moonlight for navigation, hunting, and mating. In a world of total darkness, this delicate predator-prey balance would collapse. Animals that use the cover of moonlight to hunt would starve, while those that use the darkness to hide would have nowhere to turn. Countless nocturnal species would face rapid extinction, triggering a devastating domino effect throughout the entire food web. Our planet's nights would become silent and empty. Over decades, the consequences would continue to mount. You might know that the moon's tidal forces are gradually slowing down Earth's rotation, making our days slightly longer over millions of years. This is a process known as tidal breaking. Without the moon, This braking effect would be significantly reduced. While the sun's weaker tides would still have a small effect, our days would stop lengthening at their current rate. But the more immediate issue would be the relentless climate chaos. With the axial tilt continuing its wild swings, there would be no long-term stability. Earth might enter a sudden ice age, with glaciers covering what were once thriving cities, only for it to be followed by a searing heat age that melts the ice caps and drowns the coasts. Civilization, if it survived at all, would be in a constant state of emergency, struggling to adapt to a planet that had turned against it. We might be forced to live underground or in mobile habitats, forever chasing the thin, fleeting zones of survivability. Looking at the grand timeline, over millions of years, the very course of life on Earth would be altered. Life first evolved in the oceans, where the moon-driven tides created a dynamic environment, a natural laboratory for evolution. The mixing of water and tidal pools may have been a crucial step in the origin of life itself. The stable seasons provided the long, reliable periods needed for complex life forms to evolve and diversify. Without the moon, would complex life have ever arisen? It's possible that Earth would more closely resemble a chaotic exoplanet, technically in the habitable zone, but too unstable to support anything more than simple microbial life. The long, steady journey of evolution from single cells to complex organisms might have been stalled at the starting gate. This brings us to a truly profound and unsettling thought. The moon didn't just help life evolve, it likely allowed for intelligence to emerge. The stable climate and predictable environment it created gave our ancestors the security and resources needed to develop agriculture, build cities, and develop science. Without the moon, humanity, as a species of curious, intelligent, and ambitious beings, may never have existed at all. The very spark of consciousness that allows us to even ask this question might be a direct gift from our silent, celestial partner. So, if the moon disappeared tomorrow, Earth wouldn't explode in a fireball. The end wouldn't be instantaneous, but slowly and inevitably, our world would unravel. First, the tides would weaken, devastating coastal ecosystems. Then, the climate would destabilize, as our planet began to wobble on its axis, unleashing extreme weather and causing our food systems to collapse. Our nights would grow dark, and our world would become a more chaotic and dangerous place, struggling through violent cycles of ice and fire. The moon is not just a beautiful decoration in our night sky. It is one of Earth's greatest protectors, an essential component of the intricate system that makes our planet a living world. Perhaps its greatest lesson is that some things, some of the most important things, only show their true value when we imagine them gone. Thanks for watching.